Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. The offseason is here for some teams, including the Phoenix Suns, and Chris Paul trade rumors have started to circulate after Phoenix got embarrassed last night. Chris Paul once again suffering a playoff injury, and report coming from ESPN's Tim MacMahon is that the Suns are expected to aggressively shop Chris Paul this off season. The 38-year-old still has a couple of years left on his deal, but it's a pretty manageable contract in the sense of, yeah, he's owed $30.8 million next year, but only $15.8 million is guaranteed. Year after that, $30 million, but no guaranteed money. So if a team wanted to trade for him and kind of take on a low-risk move here, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because even if you trade for Chris Paul and he doesn't live up to what you want, you could cut him, save half the money, or they could just move on after the upcoming season. Now, some betting odds have dropped about Chris Paul's potential next team. The Lakers, the favorite, 3-1 odds. Right now, the Timberwolves at 4-1 odds, the Clippers at 6-1, Philadelphia 76ers at 7-1. You got the Heat at 8-1 odds. Pelicans, return to NOLA, 10-1 odds. Trailblazers 10-1. Bulls and Mavs 12-1 odds, and then the Charlotte Hornets at 14-1 odds. Now, Chris Paul is not what he once was. I mean, the guy's approaching 30, but he's still serviceable. I think moving forward, he'd be best suited as like a sixth man, be a backup floor general, average 14 points, still a really good passer, 9 assists per game, still shoots it fairly well, but we know the injuries have piled up. He's not a 30, 35-minute per game player at this point in his career, but I think in the right situation, he could still have some value. Now, will the Suns trade Chris Paul? I definitely think Phoenix is going to look to shake things up with CP3 and DeAndre Ayton. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. If you think they'll trade Chris Paul, type T for trade. If you think they'll keep him, type K for keep. Pinned comment. If you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and reply with a T or a K. All right, let's get to 5 trade destinations, in my opinion, that could make sense. The Los Angeles Lakers, first team I'm going to talk about here. Chris Paul and LeBron James go way back. That's number one. Also, David Stern revoked the CP3 Lakers trade back in 2011, so maybe that transaction that never took place, maybe he finally does end up being a Laker, because of course he became a Clipper after that. We know how his career path has been since then, so you've got that connection. But Banana Boat Boys, LeBron, CP3, 2 of them that are still playing here, they go way back. So maybe after these playoffs, LeBron pitches it to that front office, hey, I want to bring my boy Chris Paul in here to play out a year or two to wrap up his career. So we'll see. They've wanted to play together in the past. Again, CP3 isn't what he once was, but, as a sixth man for the Lakers, I could see him taking on that role. Russell Westbrook had that role before they traded him. CP3, I think, could be more effective in it. It's just a high-quality floor general, so we'll see if that could be an option. Now, join us on Tuesday. Subscribe, turn on your noties. We're going to be live for the NBA Draft Lottery this Tuesday night. Not sure exactly when we'll go live. That's why you turn on those notifications, but we'll be live. We'll break it down as the ping pong balls start to drop, and we'll find out who wins the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, who gets that number 1 pick. So join us on Tuesday. Our NBA coverage starting to heat up, and after the Draft Lottery Tuesday, we'll have a post-lottery mock draft and a Game 1 watch party of the Western Conference Finals. So be sure to join us for that. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, next up, Philadelphia 76ers, second team here as we go through CP3 trade destinations. Obviously, Chris Paul and Doc Rivers go back. They were together with the Clippers for a while, and obviously those teams never quite reached their potential in the playoffs. A lot of really good regular season teams couldn't quite get over the hump in the postseason. I'll add this little nugget as well. There's been rumors that James Harden could be eyeing a return to Houston this offseason. He could opt out of his deal with Philadelphia this summer. And look, after that Game 6 debacle, if the Sixers lose in Game 7, I think that only increases the odds of Harden leaving. Now, it could also increase the odds of Doc Rivers getting fired, so maybe that would lower the chances of CP3 linking back up with him, obviously. But if Harden leaves, CP3 could be kind of a backup option to help replace him on that roster if you're Philadelphia. Now, who do you got in Game 7? Type S for the Sixers, type C for the Boston Celtics. Who wins Game 7? got to lean Boston here after Philly missed their chance at home in Game 6. But it's the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen. S for Sixers or C for Celtics. Okay, next up is the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, Chris Paul got his career started with the New Orleans Hornets. He was there for a long time, and of course, did some really good things. I mean, became a superstar there. Seems like a lifetime ago he was playing down in NOLA. Look how young he looks there in that photo. I think the Pelicans are a young and exciting team. What they could use is a veteran leader. I know they have CJ McCollum, but get a guy like Chris Paul in there, a guy who's been around for almost 2 decades. Whether he starts or comes off the bench, I'm not sure it really matters. I don't think you're going to have to trade that much to get him. Obviously, it's just about matching the salary. So, maybe they move a guy like Valanciunas somewhere to free up some cap. Who knows what that would look like. But I think that could be an interesting fit. Fourth team I'm looking at, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not as high on this, but second betting odds in terms of the favorites to land him, so I wanted to include them here. I kind of explored in my mind, what about a Rudy Gobert-Chris Paul swap? Obviously, the Gobert fit did not work out super well in Minnesota. Maybe do a Karl Anthony Towns swap as well if you want to keep Gobert if you're the Timberwolves, but I don't really envision a scenario where Gobert and Towns continue to coexist together with the Timberwolves. So we'll see what Minnesota does to shake things up this offseason. But they don't really have a true point guard either. So maybe Chris Paul could go there, and he could actually be a starter for that team. And then number 5, I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks. It's the classic. Well, the Mavs are always linked to players, and they never tend to get them. Now, I'll say this. I don't think the Mavs should try to get Chris Paul. I just think, he's over the hill. They're trying to go younger, I think, next to Luka Doncic. But they're also trying to retain Kyrie Irving. But who knows what the hell Kyrie's going to do. If Kyrie walks, say he goes to the Lakers or someone else, maybe the Mavs would look at Chris Paul as a backup option there if Kyrie isn't going to return. The Mavs have been linked to Chris Paul in the past. They've tried to get him before. They have a kind of a history of, they want players in their prime. They don't get them, but they end up getting them later on in their career. So don't rule out Dallas having some interest here. But I think that would probably only be the case if they were to lose Kyrie Irving in NBA free agency. So keep that in mind. There you go. 5 teams that I think could trade for Chris Paul. Where will Chris Paul play next season? What do you guys think? Will it be Phoenix? Will he get traded and play somewhere else? Drop a team name down in the comments below. All right, that's going to do it for NBA Now by Chat Sports. Join us on Tuesday for the NBA Draft Lottery as we find out who gets the number 1 pick in this year's draft. My name is Harrison Graham, and we'll see you guys soon.